who is the guy? Wait, who was the guy that actually brought in the drama? Was it the SAINTONTAS? Where did this graph start? February to May.
The reason why that question gets presented, the reason why it's asked, is because it's not just Miyabi.
And then now they're no longer able to because you've inflated the HP so high.
Correct.
And so now they need to go and like start grinding disk drives.
Oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh, I have to actually play the game to play the game. Oh, is it the caster's conversation? Is this legit just the caster's conversation? Global passive. One character is good. It is a problem because it can create more global passive.
Doing like a bunch of hardcore stuff.
Yes.
To originally do content that they used to do.
Yes, that's the whole point of in-game. That's the...
SAINTONTAS made a bad take about Zenless Zone Zero again. The drama continues. And ain't SAINTONTAS, isn't he a Wuha guy? I don't really follow his content. I only see him involved in drama. So does he actually, what does he do? Like sometimes the drama precedes the creator. I genuinely don't know what he does. He's the Wuha guy. Does he actually do anything? It's the most hardcore Wuha shill. Oh, I thought you were about to say he does the most hardcore Wuha content. No, he's the most hardcore Wuha shill. Because like, I know EO does combat stuff. The SAINTONTAS, he's anti. You guys haven't told me anything about genuine content. Like, what does he do? Must do something. Kate and him actually streamed today talking about HP inflation. But like, what does he do? Like, does he make guides? Is he a let's player? Like, what does he make? Like variety, like challenge videos? Like, what are we working with here? He creates drama and that's it. Well, let's go take a look at the video then. You guys said it, not me. I just don't know. I don't keep up with him. So I want to ask you guys.
This whole video even started, basically we had like a 2.5 hour stream prior to me even getting to this point, but context so that we understood what I was talking about and like why I'm thinking the way that I am when it comes to where this information derives from. The information of like, because we had someone in chat earlier, and not to rag on them like that, but we did have to like explain that what they were saying was irrelevant. Not that their comment was irrelevant, but them talking about HP inflation and things like that, it was irrelevant to the game because of the diagram. I already referenced that. Also because of like where the game is and was in relation to that comment.
And so what I wanted to do was actually get input of somebody else in the content creation space. Maybe somebody that actually has a lot more experience with ZZZ than I do. Because boy, oh boy, one thing's for sure about ZZZ, I don't play it as much as other games. And there are reasons for that, which I might explain in the vid, but I think it'd be worthy seeing what an expert, like...
To be fair, one, Flossin, I don't know why he calls you an expert. It feels pretty demeaning. Not because you're not an expert, but it feels like a backhanded comment. Two, Saint, buddy, you know you can just call me up. You know you can tell, hey, bro.
I would say so. There are a lot of... And to be fair to EO, EO has a really good understanding of the game, yet there are some things that I feel as though EO doesn't have the best focus on. And it's not to say that because of it, he's less of a creator, he's less of a knowledgeable person, mainly about the theory crafting side. And that's, you know, towards my expertise, that's more towards I win to lose expertise, that's more towards like Jester, Muzzy, and Kana, and Revenus. We're kind of the number churners. So in terms of that, of course they're just more preliminary numbers like, oh, you can see HP numbers go up with the enemies over the patches. Oh, that's very easy to see. But when it comes to like actually generating numbers and like trying to see and test out like, oh, what are the best variations of X or Y or Z? Well, you know, are these teams better than this team and this team? Numbers wise, EO doesn't really go towards that direction, which is fine. But there is a little bit of context, especially when it comes to like, if you're really trying to understand the meta of Zenless Zone Zero, it's a more involved conversation, right? EO doesn't got the numbers route. He does combat mechanics 100%. And it's not to say that, you know, EO still has numbers. EO still has a generalized knowledge on theory crafting. So it's not like I'm calling him like zero knowledge and numbers, right? But I feel as though reaching out to I don't know, who's this, Flossin? I don't know if Flossin is a theory crafter. They might be, actually.
Call.
Am I really watching a video of a video of a video?
This is already good start, right? If we're like reacting to the reaction, good start.
Let's make sure we're all on the same page. HP inflation in gacha games refers to a design trend where newer enemies have significantly more health than those that were released earlier in the game's lifespan. This is usually done to increase difficulty over time.
Right. Again, inflation, right? It doesn't mean the core mechanics of the game are more difficult and yada, yada, yada. But put against another variable, aka time, it makes it more difficult because you need to do more damage within that time span to clear the content.
To encourage people to pull for the newest limited banner unit.
Correct.
And you know what ZZZ did when they released a character like fucking Hoshimi Miyabi? Yeah, every single player that pulled her suddenly got a lot more power. We
did get a lot more power, 100%. But they never balanced the game around Miyabi, which is like, that's the context, right? Actually, wait.
Started clearing.
Nah, they kind of did balance it around Miyabi. They literally brought Bringer, and the only character who could clear Bringer DA1 was legit Miyabi. Like 98, 99 point some percent of clears for Bringer, that DA was Miyabi. Technically, she was on banner for the entire patch. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. We're just talking about pure gameplay. Whether having the character or not will allow you to clear. We're not even talking about the gacha at this point. Granted, yes, the gacha's a very big factor of it, right?
The older content, too fast.
Still want to bring this into perspective, just hone it in. It's not just Miyabi. Miyabi is a huge factor, absolutely, right? Like as far as the characters go. The decibel rating system change did more to the game than Miyabi. If you would have just changed the decibel rating system but left it the same, you would still see people clearing significantly faster than what they were doing before. Because what the decibel change did, or rather what it allowed, was it allowed characters who were not able to fully utilize their kit in a combo or in a team rotation or against certain situations with enemies, well, now it gave you the option to do that.
That's a great point. Great point.
And then you add into the factor of like the character can do whatever the fuck she wants. Mind you, we've already stated earlier, but I'll state it for this explanation too. There's a separation or a difference between Miyabi players who like close their eyes, jack off, and face roll on the keyboard, right?
How many of us be doing that? All right. Out yourselves right now. How many guys be jorking it? How many guys be jorking it to Miyabi? How many of you guys? All right. What's up, gamers? Don't be shy now. Don't be shy. Y'all be gooning to everything else. Don't be shy now.
Then there's the players, again, referencing the here, right?
This might be the first time we have drama in ZZZ. Yeah, I wonder who brought it in, though. Technically, it wasn't even us. Like, who was the guy? Wait, who was the guy that actually brought in the drama? Because all of us were talking, like, all the ZZ creators are saying, no, there's not really that big of an issue. Was it the SAINTONTAS? Because most of the ZZ creators that I know understand that the HP inflation is a trending issue, but it's not something that is really, you know, kind of becoming that big of an issue. You know? I don't know, man. Yeah? So it wasn't even any of the zzzero people. I know who brought it in, but Saint made the HP inflation thing go big. Bro, this ain't even an ish. Oh my god, it ain't even the ZZ folk. It ain't even the ZZ folk. Okay, so it's the Wua guy. I'm just following the crumbs here. I'm catching up to this. I also ignoring that they'll talk about comment chasing agent buffs. They'll probably get to it.
The players who were orange and red and a little bit of yellow. These players started to understand, wait a minute, Miyabi is like way more cracked. Like she can do a lot of fucked up shit that we didn't know about. We didn't really push it. So we did it. And this drastically improved Miyabi's damage performance from a visual perspective. There is so much technique and practice and skill and execution and knowledge of the game to get to orange and red to be able to do those things with Miyabi that the green player never in their fucking life, if they remain a green player, they will never be able to do the things that are being shared with Miyabi.
HP doesn't need to increase. You raise an interesting point, Parafrost, because this is the thing. It does if the game becomes too easy with the systems that they have in place, right?
Correct.
Because they released a character that was broken like Miyabi, and then all of the endgame suddenly became way too easy.
Yep, it became trivial.
Did Tower become... Well, Tower was introduced, and then the enhanced Tower in 1.5. Tower's 1.3? Okay, so I was just back by one. So 1.3 and 1.4. Okay, thank you. Without the presence of Miyabi, because these two are only talking about the game within the context of if you solo Miyabi, and this is coming from a perspective of Wuwa. Or correct me if I'm wrong, you generally only need one team. You need two teams for Wuwa and TOA. That's Adversity, right? Tower of Adversity? You need two? Which 2 is already quite difficult, yes, just like Genshin had 2. But what happens when you need 3? Things start getting out of whack, and you need 3 main carries slash, double anomaly pair, whatnot. So I'm very curious because I don't think these two mention it, or maybe I just gotta let them cook a little bit more. Having the restriction of 3 teams in DA makes it's so much more difficult because of the variety of content that can come out of 3 teams versus just having 2, right? It's a whole nother run that you gotta learn, a whole nother team comp that you gotta be adept with, not even master, just adept with, and then you gotta play to that whole stage. Sure, one of the pieces of the content might be easy with Miyabi, but everything else you still gotta clear.
You could take 4 minutes on one side and then just put Miyabi on the other and she would clear it in 30 seconds.
Yes. Okay. This is...
And if
so we're on the same page here.
The game is going, that's a little bit cooked, right? And so, we gotta put more HP so the Miyabi sides actually have something to do.
And this isn't just...
It was a self-inflicted problem, essentially.
Okay, I agree with that. But I wouldn't say, even still, that... Again, they're not balancing the game off of Miyabi because it took time for the HP inflation to hit. And does anybody have the graph for me? We started jumping around here, around March to April. We're starting to go here. We're trending a little bit higher, right? You see it. You see the graph. It's starting to accelerate. Where were we in March, April, and May? Oh, that's right. We came out with agents like Astra Yao, Evelyn. We came out with agents like zzzero, Vivian, who was 15 to 20% better than Bernice on average. So the leading cast, so that's 6 out of a total 21, 24. So that's 25% of the cast that if you have them on your team, you're almost guaranteed to at least clear 25% of the cast. So it's a shift in the whole ecosystem, because granted, I'm not comparing my unit back here to be able to perform back here. Why didn't we have shared decibels in 1.0? That's a great ass question, Neon, but now we have it. So again, that's also a reason why we started to see the increase in difficulty, because the characters and the teams overall got stronger. The teams overall got stronger because of, right, and very much to EO's credit, the decibel system got changed. 100%. As I said before, it allows stunners to stun more. For supports, it allows the Sakakus, that allows the Renas, even the budget options, right? That allows the Lucys of the world to go crazy. Prior to the decibel buff, you were only ulting with your main DPS character. You're only ulting with Ellen Jo. You're only ulting with Jane Doe. You're only ulting with Ju Yen. Where's Nicole's ult? You can't get those 20k, 30k runs anymore if you don't have Nicole's ult. Nicole is so key to that Juyen squad as one of the most purest examples.
And that part right there,
it happens at every gacha, correct?
So I want to talk about a couple misconceptions that I've seen floating around the space.
Miyabi Ultimate just did 2 full bars of the HP.
Misconception 1. HP inflation means Zenless is getting worse. I said I'd like to see more bosses with new mechanics instead of just giving them more HP outright.
Agreed.
Anyway,
it's kind of like, and then you start seeing it January, February. Ooh, you start to see it accelerate a little bit more, right? Understandable. Where did this graph start? February to May. Who was released from February to May? Oh, Miyabi was released early in January. You have Astra Yao, who is the best support in the game. You have Evelyn, who's like 90 to 95% damage if you get premium squad. You have Soldier Zero, you have Trigger, you have Vivian, who is by far none the best off-field pseudo DPS anomaly units, and then we're getting huge ass. You do need to hit the premium for Hugo to be just more outstanding than Ellen, but again, still stands. The cast is larger, and a majority percentage of the cast can actually clear now. So how is this a problem? The only reason it's a problem is because folks like, folks who don't necessarily play the game, who don't keep up with the cast here, get left behind with Ju Yen squad trying to defeat Bringer. Get left behind with Ellen Jo for now, which again, that'll go into the next conversation, or the next portion of the conversation, where we actually buff Ellen Jo in 2.x.
That aside, I think that this is a weak argument to act like this is a death sentence for Zenless. Like, bro, The game has been out for 9 months. Of course, HP is going to increase.
Why are we not talking about the real reason for why the HP increased?
Why are we not talking about that, Saint? That's such a good question, baby. I love it. Why are we not talking about it? The reason we're not talking about it is because it's not Miyabi. I understand.
It is not Miyabi. It is not Miyabi. It's Evelyn, Astriel, Ambi, Soldier, Vivian, Hugo. It's everybody. Because even if you picked up any of these characters, you know, and you built them relatively well and you learn how to use them, you can S-clear very easily. You can S-clear very easily, chat. These characters are strong. And guess what? People have cleared with Pulchra. People still clear with Lucy and Sokaku and fucking Seth. Shout out to Io. Nicole, Piper, Solo, Billy runs. Ambi's still a budget option for stun that people use for Juyens, for example. Heck, you managed to clear with my half-ass build teams. And sure, that plays into the skill portion of it, but I'm trying to get into the shoes of a player who doesn't naturally play every day, who doesn't have the skill. Granted, I'm not saying that they're not smart or that they can't learn. It's just that, again, they haven't practiced it. Right? I can't go into Wuthering Waves and clear TOA even if the characters were built because I didn't know how to play to the enemies. I didn't know how to play to the round and the restrictions of the round, and I don't know how to play the characters within the team. Very simply.
The biggest factor to what's going on was the decibel change, the ultimate rating change. We got new disk drives that completely reworked the system from a character building perspective.
I love it. That's exactly what I was going to mention next. Because it's not just the characters, it's the drive disk, right? If you compare Swing Jazz, Astral Voice to 24% versus 15%, that's a 60% damage increase. Shadow Harmony versus Woodpecker gives you 12% crit rate, 15% aftershock / dash attack damage, and 12% attack. Chaos Jazz to some extent did Freedom Blues as well. Wrench and Blade Song is a very unique case because it's very niche. So if the game were to stay the same, aka the HP were to stay the same, the enemies / enemy difficulty were to stay the same, that wouldn't make any sense. All right, let's catch up with chat a little bit. I feel the bar was set low to begin with, because the game was too new and not many players could build their characters to clear it quickly enough. HP inflation is just for the game to keep the day one players from clearing content too quickly. Let's be real, most players dropped the game and came back in 1.4. I agree. Josh, you're not in the stream. Saint said that ZZ is not consumer friendly because you have to invest time into the game to learn rotations. That shit took me out. Like, playing the game is not consumer friendly, bro. Really? He said it's not consumer friendly. Bro, if I wanted to pick up a game and beat its content, bro, I play Raid fucking Shadow Legends. Join today and get 100 level 1,000 million characters with 1 million combat power and start clearing content today. Like, is that what you want? Clearly not. I don't think that's what Saint wants. And I don't think if I were to categorize that as woo-wah, he definitely wouldn't say that was woo-wah. Not just play AFK or read up. I mean, there wouldn't be anything to do if you max out the other disc sets, so they're keeping the player base healthy with newer sets too. No, kind of, but you can use older sets for the newer characters, right? If you don't want to use the Shadow Harmony set, you just use Woodpecker. Can use the other sets. Yes, they are quote unquote budget, but that doesn't mean that you can't clear content, because if you have good drive discs, then you just have good drive discs. True, it's for those who want min-maxing. Agreed. If you have a good Woodpecker 4 set, that you built for God knows Soldier back in the day, you can slap it on Hamasa, slap it on to Ambi, slap it on Soldier Zero Ambi, slap it on to Evelyn. Granted, they play very, very differently, but they all will utilize it in some way, shape or another.
Where now you have these 4 pieces or 2 pieces that perfect your build at a casual or novice level and intermediate level. We also got Harumasa. Despite people looking at this character and going, man, I don't want to break my fingers to do 4,000 chain attack combo. Doesn't fucking matter. He's still in the game. At the time of 1.4 releasing, we got the 2 strongest DPS characters in the game at the same time. One of them for free on top of everything else that happened from 1.4 to 1.5 with the decibel rating system. It's not just Miyabi. The reason why that question gets presented, the reason why it's asked, and why Flossin didn't say anything about it is because it's not just Miyabi. I'm gonna bring this one down actually. Rocket Boo.
Why are we not talking about the character that came in and did double or triple the damage of the past characters?
Because they do! Evelyn literally doubles. Astrayao doubles everyone's damage. Just add any one of them. Anyone. Trust me. Add any one of the units past 1.4 and you will improve your team. There's so many aspects of the game that have grown that you can't put it on one character. I think SAINTONTAS is equating the Miyabi to Castris as a Castris level disturbing catastrophic level 9 earthquake event. A cataclysm. I want to see what Saint says when Carthea comes out. We already know she's going to be more OP than Miyabi is to Zenless. I don't know who that character is, so I'm not going to talk about it. Because unlike some people, and I'm not saying who, I would need to learn more information first before I speak. So I'll keep my mouth shut in respects for the game and respects for the conversation, because I don't want to throw stuff around without me actually knowing what it's about.
We're not talking about Haramasa.
Until very recently.
It's just part of the life cycle in gacha games. So while yes,
I've never argued that a character is stronger. I've never once in my life said, oh, Ellen is the same power level as Miyabi. Like, duh, bro, if Miyabi can clear, Ellen can. I've never done that.
Yeah, he's never done that.
What I've said is that Miyabi does not invalidate Ellen. Ellen being in your account, if you happen to have Ellen,
100%.
and someone being like, oh man.
100%. Yes. Evelyn doesn't mean your Soldier 11 is become irrelevant. In fact, Evelyn's presence, allowing the meta to be focused around fire, brings up Soldier. Ambi, with Trigger making 2 out of the 3 DA runs electric weakness, brings back the conversation about Haramasa. Haramasa never really left the conversation, but it brings them up instead, actually. Funny enough. And then when huge ass Vlad comes along, guess who's coming along with him? It's Ellen Joe, the first S-rank character of the game.
Ellen sucks. Miyabi power crept Ellen. Ellen can't do shit anymore. No, you just suck. Not you specifically, right? But like,
damn, man. Hey, you suck too.
What I'm saying, it's like you just suck at playing Ellen. You can get better at playing Ellen. I suck at playing Sokaku and like, I do not like Mono Ice. After
okay, I can say I suck ass at Haramasa. All right, I am the most anti Haramasa agenda player. How do you suck at Sokaku? You press E 3 times and that's it. There's 3 circles and you just fill them with 3 E's. That's it. You know what I'm saying? There's no way to be bad at Sokaku. There's a way to be very bad with Haramasa. You have to try to be bad with Sokaku.
You're watching Yoji's clear with M0, Miyabi, Lycan, and Sokaku, and being able to kill Bringer.
And of course, you play Ellen since 1.0. She's going to do worse than 1.0. Then 1.7, people are going to pull new characters and get pies and
everything.
Exactly. And then, with the new sets and the new weapons and the new, bamboos and new team comps, you can always improve the performance of the character.
Build my Sokaku. I want to build my Lycan. I want to perfect my Miyabi. I want to learn that rotation. That's the type of player that I am. I see some bullshit I want to do.
Can't play
I don't
Seth,
get intimidated by it. You know what I mean? I think
or
a lot of
is
people
not that good at playing Seth.
They see something and it's like, well, I don't want to have.
Bro, my Seth's kind of ass too. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't practice him.
You should learn how to play the game.
HP inflation can ruin Zenless if it's left unchecked. I don't think it will, especially not because of just Shiyu changing. And the big reason why is the next misconception that I've been seeing. Misconception 2. Enemies are just spongy with no.
When's this motherfucker gonna talk about Miyabi? I swear to God, she is like the main problem, bro.
She is not the main problem. Okay, hold on. Let's keep moving along here.
Skipping Bringer's entire second phase. You learn skipping phase skips in like that orange territory. But before you learn that, you have to learn the enemy that's yellow territory. It is the phase with the sword thingy, but not the sword thingy. When you stun him for the first time, or if you take too long to stun him, he does his roar and he says, create or refine me. He vanishes off the screen and then he summons the eye. If you don't kill the eyeball, here's my sword. Deal with this, which is also a time waster. That's the punishment for the player. The boss gets rewarded because you didn't stop it. Before he gets to the eyeball, you can stop that phase.
Yes, you can.
So he never gets to the eyeball. You have to get it frame perfect or it's fucked. And this goes into the stun locking shit, right? And I said, you can stun lock him in Deadly Assault so that you can clear with 20k within the first like minute and a half. You don't have to worry about anything he does. You get your...
That's it. And I'm sure that Wuthering Waves has those types of mechanics too, correct? I'm pretty sure Wuthering Waves bosses are just as intricate. Yes, chat? Like they have certain like things where you can cheese, even cheese that much further and it rewards you. Like there must be some very, very intricate bosses in Wuthering Waves. No? Just because, again, I'm reaching out to you guys because I don't know. In ZZZ, they have levels to it. So for those who play both games, would you say Zenless Zone Zero mobs are more difficult than Wuthering Waves mobs? Depends. Well, and ZZ have two different playstyles. 100%. 100%. I'm not trying to compare the playstyles. I'm trying to compare the relative difficulty you guys feel as players of both. That's all I'm asking. I'm not trying to like, you know, I'm just trying to see because again, SAINTONTAS plays Wuthering Waves. So I'm trying to see your guys' experience as Wuthering Wave players and like trying to draw that so I can get a background of where he's at. Because I don't follow his content. I don't know. I'm sure he's a great player. You can parry bosses, stop special bosses, stop special attacks from bosses. Well, yeah, very much the same as almost every other game, I'll be honest. It's all Hoyo stuff anyways. That's not for me to like critique because I don't really care about that. Or yeah, I should say I don't care that he hates Hoyo. I just care about all the arguments of this conversation. Even if it wasn't SAINTONTAS talking about it, if it was somebody else, if it was EO bringing up that same point, I focus more on the point. I don't care about the people chat. I care about the conversation, the points of the conversation, and the context of the conversation. So I could just very well replace SAINTONTAS with player A and EO with player B. And I can go throughout this whole rest of this 30 minutes talk right here, just referring to them as player A and player B. But what's more important to me is that you guys understand, you guys get a better grasp on this conversation, and it gives you insights as to the game that we enjoy. When do we start reacting to content? I react every now and then. I don't react to drama as much. More so, you guys know me. I don't care about drama. I care about conversations. And this is a conversation in the context of, you know, moving us into 2.0 that I feel like is very important. HP inflation and where the ecosystem of the game goes. Like I said, I don't care about the people. I care about the conversation.
Points, and then you fuck off for the rest of the fight, right? If all you care about is clearing to get your rewards, this is the easiest way to do that. But these are reasons why you would want to stun lock. That's orange player information.
We're going to talk about the Electro Mech Shield. The Electro Mech with the massive shield.
If bosses don't have unique mechanics,
which wait, which Electro mech is he talking about there? I don't know which one.
The one that slides around that goes like zim zim zim, and then like lasers pew pew pew, and then fire. That guy.
If he's talking about the one that's like a choo choo choo, and its shield closes in force.
Oh yeah. It's yeah, he got it. The shield closes, fire. Lasers come out. 000.
If he gets the electric up or the shield up, you have to pop him with the electric anomaly or stun him. Okay. So Saint's right on that one. Let me correct that then for sure. So you only have two options then. Stop it from happening, stun him when it happens. Everyone's on the same page now. We get it for sure.
Look, if you're a casual player, then in-game content is going to feel unfair.
W Flossin.
I agree. Why is this guy cringing? To be fair, chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, let's put up the statement. I would say 85 to 90% of content, if you guys have an okay built account, you can clear. You can at least get 6 stars in DA. You can at least get 6 out of 7 in Shield defense. You've done some form of the tower. And you've done a majority of Lost Void. That's 90% of content, let's be real. 98% of content. And that's for casuals. Granted, you guys are pretty good. You guys might say that you have bad builds, but let's be real. There's worse out there. there is worse out there. So when it comes to casuals who have zero clue on how to play, how to build, how to use the characters, of course it's gonna feel unfair. This isn't tic-tac-toe. Lord Saint's just mad because he's bad. He wants to win without playing IMO. Let's see his reaction.
No. F that. Say whatever you gotta say. W Flossin. Even his mic knew he was saying bullshit because it cut out. Even his
But you cut him off before you could even say anything, but I assume he didn't say anything. Basically, just learn the game. Yeah, that's the whole conversation. This guy hasn't learned the game. So of course the power creep is going to feel unfair and it's going to look daunting. But if you've learned the game and you play the game, you guys know every single, like not every single day, but every stream, I teach you guys something new, hopefully that you guys never learned before. And then you guys apply it to your gameplay and you guys clear content. I hope you guys clear content. I hope you guys get better at building, because it's not just about me taking your guys' account and saying, oh yeah, this account can clear it and I clear it for you. What's more important is that you guys learn how to clear it. The knowledge on how to clear it and the understanding that you can clear it.
What if you are a casual basketball player going to your gym, right? And then you want access to a different sort of court or something, right? Or you want to wear a certain type of shoe, but you don't get to wear the shoe?
No. He was about to set up the perfect analogy that would immediately disprove what he's trying to explain.
Exactly.
Let's say that you're a casual basketball player, you go to your gym. Normally what happens is they might play half a court if they're respectful. If they're not respectful, they're taking over the whole court. If they're playing half a court, one half of the court is for like, hey, I'm just practicing layups. We're just practicing, we're casual, right? The other half, hey bro, don't come over here if you're not trying to play the game. If you can't take an elbow to the chest, don't come over here. If you can't hit threes, don't come over here.
Factuals. As you guys can see here, there is one guy who knows how to play basketball and is around basketball culture. Another guy who's not really around the basketball culture. Now, I don't know if this guy knows basketball. He might know basketball. He might know ball. But as a guy who's, gone to actually play amateur circuit, I've played in AAU. I've literally trained with college and NBA coaches. Looky here. There's my ass at one of the most prestigious, basketball training facilities in California. That was not a good analogy for you to use, my guy. Why didn't you get drafted? Because I'm short. I am not 6'2" plus, which is kind of what you need to be to get drafted in the NBA. Because sure, you can be really good at the game, but there are others who are really good at the game and taller than you.
Representation of what Flossin is saying. Casual players, you don't belong on this side of the court. What are you doing? Oh, you should not be over here. Now you can experience it, but then what happens, right? If you've played any kind of sports,
I've played these games before, gamers.
And it's not until you're willing to get hurt.
It's the same analogy of people wanting an easy mode on Souls-like games. Oh, 100%. 100%. Or at least the gamer equivalent.
That would have been a much better analogy if he delivered it.
Keep buying that shoe? No, you're not. It's like people had access and were literally able to do this stuff. They were able to do these game modes, play these features, enjoy these end game modes, and then now they're no longer able to because you've inflated the HP so high.
Correct.
And so now they need to go and like start grinding disk drives.
Oh my gosh, guys. I have to play the game more. Oh no. Why can't I just play the game? Oh no, guys. Oh my gosh. I have to actually play the game to play the game. Oh, woe is me. I can't believe it. I can't believe I have to build characters and fight bosses to gain materials, to build my characters, to play the end game modes. If that wasn't also a part of the game, completely separate parts, that is irrelevant, of course. That part is irrelevant. That is not the game that I talk about.
Yes.
Their team's hard.
Plus, like we said in the stream, we could say earlier, people complained it was too easy before 1.4. Well, the only people who complained it was easy was people who had reached the end game. I wouldn't say casuals called it easy. So I get it from that perspective.
Doing like a bunch of hardcore stuff.
Yes.
To originally do content that they used to do.
Yes. That's the whole point of endgame. That's the...
Oh no. I can't, I need to find more echoes. These echoes that I had are not good enough, and because of that, I can no longer play the game. I guess it's a wraps. I will move on from Wuwa and play, dude, wait, what the hell are people playing these days? Go play Love and Deep Space. Oh, go play Love and Deep Space. No, Love Deep Space, there's combat too. Whoa. Don't get him started. Don't get him started. There's combat in Love and Deep Space now. All right. And if his love and deep space memories are maxed out, all right, you can't beat the content, guys. Whoa. Don't get us started now. All right. I think there's a clear misconception with, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat. And this will seal the argument right here. This will seal the argument. What is the average clear in Wuthering Waves? Do you expect casual players to 100% Tower of Adversity and other hardcore endgame modes? It's not a thing. Hell no. Lamau? Nope. Yes? Okay, so I guess. Nope. Okay, so from the experience of this player, again, I don't care about the name, I don't care about anything, but they are a Wuthering Waves player. So just looking at Wuthering Waves, if the average player shouldn't clear the endgame content, much like another action RPG game that's right next door and has a similar situation, why are we complaining about this versus this? Okay, is there any more to this conversation that actually means anything? Because I feel like we've had our fill, we've had our laughs, we've had our goose, we've had our daffs. Because at the end of the day, it's about two things. Now, I always mention this every single time. You guys know this conversation. Meta consists of two factors. One, the players, aka the characters, the equips, and the teams. How they synergize with each other, how they work together to eventually, second side, environment. How do they interact with enemies? Specific rounds. DA is different from Shiyu, which is different from Tower. Yes, they're combat, but they provide different restrictions to your party that create a different experience. And certain teams can be used better in certain situations than others. Astra and Miyabi are easy mode ZZ. It's difficult with those characters. Yes, but that's how it should be. Because if every character could clear the content, what's the point? Then there's no artificial distinction between certain characters. And I would just play Ellen all my life and not care about any other character. It's about the experience and the diversity in the cast on the player side and the growing ecosystem of adding one character that kind of raises the ship, or using a metaphor of, expanding horizontally the scope of the game. And because we don't see it as an issue, they automatically think we don't think it can become one. Is it the caster's conversation? Is this legit just the caster's conversation? Oh my gosh, guys, global passive. Guys, global passive. One character is good. It is a problem because it can create more global passive. That's the problem. What the heck? That's just fear-mongering at that point. Also, you can come back and say, I told you so. I told you that HP inflation was going to be an issue. I told you that them introducing global passive was an issue. I feel as though Hoyo has a great record of making some very, very good games last a very long time. Hoyoverse, and I'll stand by that statement, Hoyoverse has a great record of creating games that last a very long time. Look at their very first game. HI3, still going on after how many years? Granted, they have their ups and downs. Granted, they, of course, their bumps. 8 years? 8 years for a live service game? Are you kidding me? That's amazing. HSR for what? 3 years, 3.5, going on its fourth year? HSR is without its faults. But I'm saying the game in itself and the experience that you get out of it, man, it's one of the best. The game is not just, and this is where I kind of deviate and go into the larger conversation of it all. Do you guys think that HSR is a bad game because of the combat? Or do you guys think its entirety is a bad game? The story, the music, the world building, the ambiance, right? The events, the mini games. I think that stuff is pretty fun, man. Granted, I didn't care as much about the combat, and maybe that's why, because I was just more of me actively not trying to engage in that conversation. The combat sucks IMO, so I don't play it anymore. That's fair. That's fair, right? 100%. Combat, I love the music and I love the story. 100%. So there's so much more to the game than just the combat. And I don't want to take away from the conversation that's happening here, but just again, to wrap everything up, I think a lot of the ZZ folk who are creating ZZ content are quite peeved at this other creator coming in from the outside and dictating the conversation, right? Understandably so. I did not agree with their take either. And it's tough. It's tough because Zenless Zone Zero is not that large of a game. And then you take a look at so much greater creators, and their voice is so much greater. And I just wish that they use that voice to be a little bit more positive, and to not to say that they need to be, oh, hunky dory, oh, every game's good, but to promote a more healthy conversation. Doesn't need to be a debate, doesn't mean, whatever, discussion, whatever. Just something that's a little bit more healthy. And I just wish that some of the leading creators promoted a little bit more decorum, and a little bit more class when it comes to, how they present themselves and how they present their content, because that reflects into your, or that not reflects, but that trickles down into your community, and that trickles down into the environment, right? Because we're all in this relative big pond, this metaphorical pond. And if the fishies start to get poisoned here, the other fishies will also get poisoned here. And then things start getting bad as they intermingle and stuff, as of this little pond metaphor. It's not the best metaphor. And I did not take an ecology class to be able to make that metaphor, but hopefully that makes sense. And not to say that, we're the best fishies. ZZZ is the best fishies, but there was not really that much conflict before in this conversation. And now it's kind of like ZZZ creators versus this guy, which hopefully is in some ways, a uniting factor that I feel like we can, as a community, we can all kind of get behind, not only just the sentiments about, the argument, but from my position, right, promoting a healthier conversation versus trying to incite, inflame, and such. I hope we can just have a healthy conversation about it. That's all it is. Okay. Yep.